Morning, and here we are back at Sudbury Hill, ready to start the next section of the Capital Ring. I've left my camera in the hotel room, so we're back to the good old mobile phone today. So we're going to head off up there towards the highest point, or one of the highest points of the walk, and also one of the furthest points from Charing Cross at 10 miles, Harrow on the Hill, with the famous Harrow School. The Capital Ring is a 78-mile walk around Greater London, crossing the Thames at Woolwich and Richmond, and is in 15 sections. Today we'll finish section 9 starting at Sudbury Hill and do section 10 finishing up at Hendon Central. So this is Piggy Lane, as it's known locally, and if we're going to Harrow on the Hill, I guess we've got to walk up a hill, which is what I think we'll be doing for the next little bit. And you can tell that we're coming into Harrow now, with all these rather luxurious, opulent houses, long-standing prosperity of this area. And here we are at the centre of Harrow on the Hill. Lovely little village green here, 10 miles from Charing Cross, still in London. And here we have Harrow School, famous the world over, founded in 1572 by a local farmer, with one pupil initially. Clearly became much more successful, educating the likes of Churchill, Trollope, Byron, among just a few of its luminaries. And steeply down the aptly named Football Lane that takes us to Harrow School's playing fields. The hallowed playing fields of Harrow School. So we walk across these back into more prosaic territory. And there's Harrow on the Hill with its school, its church, built shortly after the Norman conquest in 1094. Presumably the Normans wanted to build a church quickly because this was a famed pagan worship site, I guess because it was high on a hill. That church is one of the highest points in London. There is the divide between privilege and less privilege. Pretty sharp demarcation. So down here to another important feature of the Capital Ring. And here, just by this busy road, is the site of the only stile on the Capital Ring, which is now history because it's been replaced by this rather nice kissing gate. So that feature's gone. Now on the Drucker path through some scrubby woodland around the perimeter of Northwick Park Hospital. Rather functional buildings of this large hospital and research centre. So here we are at South Kenton, the end of section 9, straight under that underpass to start section 10. So we start off walking through the rather pleasant streets of North Wembley, on our way now to Friant Country Park. But first it's Preston Park. And here's our first sight of the Jubilee line, crossing the road here on this skew bridge. And there's the view back to Harrow on the Hill, with its church spire and school. That's where we've come from. And here at the top of Barn Hill, we've got this lovely view of Wembley Stadium. Worth the climb. So we're currently wandering through Freyant Country Park, which is a large open space to the north of London, close to Wembley, and we're heading towards Hendon. And this Elder Street, which we're just crossing here, is an ancient path created by the Romans and apparently used by the pilgrims to get to the shrine of St Albans. And here is Freyant Way that transects the park. So this is the modern pilgrim's route, I guess. And here we are on the top of Gotford's Hill. This amazing view over North London to the downs beyond. And back into Suburbia, Salmon Street, I suppose close to Hendon. So here we are in Kingsbury, and this is New St Andrew's Church, which was built in the 19th century in Marylebone and moved here in the early 1930s. What an amazing feat that must have been. And this is the old St Andrew's Church, which it replaced. Somewhat more rural affair, I think. Now restored to become a Romanian Orthodox church. So the final feature of today's walk in this section is this very large expanse of water, Brent Reservoir, built to feed the Regent's Canal, and now a haven for wildlife, the book says, although maybe not on a dull February afternoon. North Circular Road over there. We're heading to the M1. So a little pocket of countryside in the midst of all this hubbub. This reservoir is also known as the Welsh Harp, apparently named after a pub that used to exist around these parts. And is often the case, away from that tranquil stretch of water up into Greater London, the A5 ahead of us, and then the M1 before we reach the end of this section at Hendon Central Station. And there's the East Midlands main line from St Pancras back to Leicester, running alongside the M1. which we're now crossing. Certainly this has been a walk of contrasts, with that lovely countryside and now this end section through London's urban landscape. And here we are at the end of today's walk. Beginning of section 11 goes off down there, but for now we're going to head down here to Hendon Central Station and the Northern Line back to London. So see you here the next time for sections 10 and 11 of the Capital Ring. Bye for now.